Hello and welcome to Weird Christianity, where three friends, and today it is really three friends, not
Three
two,
friends?
three friends. Yeah, the third friend is there because she found her voice back. Yeah, Becky, yes, we are so happy you've got your voice.
Well done, Becky.
Well,
Good effort.
She lost it twice. I mean, that is carelessness to me. Anyway, welcome to Weird Christianity, where three friends are sharing three facts around a lunchtime. And today we have Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Who made a French accent earlier on, and yeah, he sounded so French, more French than I did. And Becky, who's found her voice back.
Yeah, got my voice back.
Yeah,
She just sounds like Becky. And that's
and that's great.
I mean, that's progress from where we did before.
She started a bit like, "Hello, I'm Becky." Before,
Yeah.
which is
It's almost like we had got like a chatbot in to help us.
it was
Bless you.
and me, Jeremy. And today, with no further ado, we have our first fact, and our first fact is from Christopher.
No worries. So, my facts or facts that I'm going to share is about weird gifts. Now, I'm sure we've all received weird gifts over our time, but I'm talking particularly about weird, peculiar, interesting gifts that have been attributed to God that we've received through church history. So, there are some which are explainable through our different denominations in church, such as the gift of speaking in tongues, which is often it's called glossolalia. I found out.
So, does that mean that if I speak more than one language, as
you
I
have
do,
the gift of tongues?
I got the gift of tongue?
Yeah, well,
fantastic.
I'll give you that. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a talent, and I would say for lots of people, it is totally, I would say, a gift from God.
My talent is that I can't speak English nor French perfectly well anymore.
Well enough. There's also the gift of tears. So when people are overwhelmed with the sense of God by the Holy Spirit, they have uncontrollable weeping that they cannot ascribe to anything else apart from being in the presence of God. It's, I don't know, that one's...
You sure it's not that chopping onions?
Yeah, ninjas chopping onions around them.
Just chopping onion next to you.
And there's also the mystical visions and revelations, so where people have received visions or inspired words that they can only attribute as coming from God. So those are like I would say over the various denominations are pretty much well accepted. There are some other ones I found out which really interested me and kind of I was interested in, like, maybe God could share some of these with me. There's the one that I really liked was the gift of levitation, apparently. So some saints were said to have the ability to levitate during prayer or ecstatic experiences. So St. Joseph of Cupertino, I'm the worst person to pronounce that. Known as the Flying Saint, get that, was reported to have levitated on numerous occasions.
Flying Saint.
Like, just, obviously it'd be for God's kingdom that I would use that ability.
How would you use it? I want to know how you'd use it. Like, honestly, how much quicker would it be to get to and from work if you could fly?
I know, just
like...
You'd be cold, surely. It's just like, he's on the moors, he would have to go...
It genuinely would cut my commute time. Lord, just, holding that out there. There's the odour of sanctity.
What does it smell like?
Well, apparently, so this
is that the saying that fast? So
no, right?
Sorry, it's godly.
This is why I found it hilarious. So apparently, this is a sweet fragrance that's said to emanate from the bodies of saints, either during their lifetime or after death. It's been reported in connection with various saints and is often seen as a sign of holiness. So, someone is sweet smelling, or just put on like a load of links. I don't know. It might be a gift.
Of all the paths you
looked at,
I know.
All the things you could have gone for, links is not the one.
Yeah.
Oh dear. There's.
Sorry,
yeah.
We have to say something.
Yeah.
Links can be good too. We don't
yes,
want to be sued by links.
Or any other fragrance.
Yeah, I mean, it is totally down to the judgment of individual people.
Yes, exactly. So, there's stigmata, which I didn't realise was a thing. I thought that was
a movie.
Or like health affliction. But this is the appearance of bodily wounds, scars, or pains in locations corresponding to the crucifixion wounds of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit. So
yeah,
we had one in our village who, in the middle of her hand, she would have like stigmata before my time, before I was born.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was checked by the Catholic Church to see if it was either self-inflicted or if it was something that really appeared. Because, but there are stories of people who would have the wound appearing on their hands during the Easter period.
Yeah.
And then would disappear with no scar after.
That's
down.
So apart from Jeremy's friend, the most...
Not my friend.
No, sorry,
someone I know.
Someone I know.
From my village.
I just assumed they're your friends.
Yeah. Just like, it's a long time ago. I'm not that, well, I'm maybe that old, but I wasn't there.
People have said you're a Time Lord, possibly.
Yeah. I've got too many hearts. I'm such a heartfelt person. I've got 2 hearts.
Jeremy's friends and family, please don't laugh. So, St. Francis of Assisi is one of the most famous stigmatics, and he was around the 13th century. Bilocation is another interesting one.
Biolocation?
Bilocation. Yeah. But as in B-I, so for 2. Yeah, bilocation. Biolocation, yeah.
Biolocation, locating by your bio.
Yeah. So yeah, we're still on that. Yeah,
it's
still on
with
that.
the one with smell.
Yeah. Apparently, this refers in 2 places at the same time. Saints like Padre Pio and Martin de Porres have been accredited with this miraculous gift.
What would you do with being in 2 places in one time?
I don't know. I genuinely, I have struggled being in one place at one time. So
I'm just imagining what I would do with that now.
Yeah.
I'm like imagining myself in 2 different places. I feel like I would be more comfortable. I'd have more time to do things.
Surely that's cloning.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well,
that's that's another like ethical dilemma that we maybe shouldn't get into right now.
Yeah.
Cool. No
and the last one that I'll bring up is it's called incorruptibility. I thought that was kind of a,
Is that the enemy of Al Capone?
No. Or it was a case of incorrupt, like you can't be corrupted. You're just solely pure. I thought it was a myth, but it's not. It's not that at all. It is phenomenon. I will speak English eventually. I need the gift of tongues. Where the bodies of some saints do not decompose after death as they would normally be expected. The bodies of saints like St. Catherine Labouré and St. Bernadette Soubirius are famous examples. Can I have some English?
Labouré.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Yes.
So
Apparently,
the bodies don't decay.
They don't decay, and they haven't been exhumed or embalmed, or they have been exhumed.
Hang on,
but
let's not check it. So we know they are not. You know where they are incorruptible. Let's not check it.
They have been exhumed.
Trust me on this.
But they haven't been embalmed, is what I meant to say. I used the wrong word.
So if you are uncorruptible, does that mean that you automatically have the gift of the saint things? Because you don't smell. Surely, if you're uncorruptible, you do smell good.
Well, of course, I would assume that it would have to go together. So maybe what we're isolating here is only the most holy of individuals perhaps have this, and we've got some work to do, guys. I don't know. Or maybe it is down to God's grace as to what gifts he chooses to give us. For them, it was important. For us, it's like, you can just decay like normal. It's fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I'm not that worried about a decay.
No.
But
I'll be dead, so it won't matter too much.
Exactly,
but talking about decay, when you talked about gift earlier on, I just kind of thought that you were going to look at like proper gift, like like Christmas or birthday or anniversary gift. And so I looked at the weirdest gift that was ever given.
Okay.
On the list, there is a lampshade made of human skin.
Oh yeah, man!
Oh yeah,
wow.
It has to go there.
Let's hope that was incorrect.
Yeah. Let's hope it was the skin of a saint.
Exactly. Just like, Anyway, so that was my fact. What are some of the weird gifts that God has given? And it appears to be quite a few.
Oh well, thank you, Christopher. Becky.
So my fact this week is that there were no animals in the Christmas story.
Now, Becky, sorry to correct you, because in lots of the stories and carols that are there are lots of
because those carols are factual.
I mean, I've seen pictures of Jesus.
We are not in Elizabethan time anymore, so they are certainly true.
Yeah, so it's not likely that there would have been any. Well, they might. I mean, like it said in the the story that they would have been where the animals were, so there might have been animals, but they just weren't mentioned.
Okay.
And we walked from Nazareth to Bethlehem, which is about 80 miles or 90 miles. It's quite a long way. We Googled it earlier, and it is the distance from Exeter to Bristol. So
Wow.
it's like walking from Exeter to Bristol, which is a long way. And we were looking at how steep it is. It's actually quite a big climb. It doesn't appear like that, but actually there's lots of like hills and stuff. So they probably would have walked, not on a donkey, with Mary quite pregnant.
So
Yeah.
are we dispelling Love Actually here, that there were no lobsters
Yeah.
involved?
There
Oh.
weren't any lobsters, sadly. There were no lobsters.
I think
in that
traveling with
story.
lobsters is quite a difficult one, in all fairness.
Is that kosher? I don't know.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
choice. Just like, was she on the back of a lobster?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just I can imagine that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we always just assume because they're like we mentioned in the story that there are lots of people that we mentioned shepherds who obviously would have worked with sheep, but there were no sheep mentioned. We obviously mentioned the journey,
Yes.
and there were we always assume because we've seen it in nativities that there was a donkey involved. There weren't any donkeys mentioned. I've got a nativity scene at home which has got cows in it for some reason, and there were no cows involved. There were literally no animals at all mentioned. I mean, we just assume that there are because it probably would have been quite a heavy animal society.
Yeah, and also there is this fallacy that it's in a stable, isn't it? It's just it happens in a stable, but we know that stable are not mentioned. It's a manger that is mentioned, and where do you usually find manger? In a stable. That's why we just kind of created this entire thing around.
It just says they were put where the animals would have stayed. So it doesn't
would have
say...
stayed. So they may not have been there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is certainly interesting. There are things that are certainly not mentioned in the Bible. We can create a story. We can do those kind of things. But in the end of the day, it's just like we are working with quite a little information from the Bible.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I mean, it's not a fact, is there? It's another fact for another time about we celebrate it in December.
Yeah,
was Jesus
probably
born in
wasn't
December?
No, he was.
No.
Was it?
December? Yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So Jeremy's already fact checked that for us.
Yeah. I might check that for you guys. It's said in December. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Do you want to give me reasoning for that?
No.
Just look it up. Andy just passed me a note that said, "Oh, but parts need to be given in a nativity plays somehow. We've got to give parts to all the kids in the nativity plays."
Exactly. My children this year are the stars. You know what
I
I mean?
love it.
Yeah. Not
Sorry,
the star of the
how
show,
many-
just the star in the sky.
But how many stars were there? And you're like, there were lots of stars.
Yeah, there were a lot of stars. They're not the star, obviously, not the one that needs to be followed.
Yeah.
Just a star.
Yeah. I mean, that's sweet, though. And how many angels were there? Is it just one angel, a choir of angels? You could have lots of
Well, a
angels.
choir of angels.
There was definitely a choir of angels on the shepherds.
Yeah.
On the hill.
So lots. Okay, so we're now just divvying up roles in nativity scenes. Just,
But a choir is not like a legion. A legion. When they said a legion of man, it was a certain number of it because the Roman army had a set
in legions.
Yes.
in their legions, of numbers. While a choir doesn't define a number. It's just
Can you really have a choir of one?
Well. Perhaps not. It could be two angels, you know what I mean? Just like that. I guess that's a group.
That's all they could hustle up at that time.
Donkeys. When it's donkey years, it's just like that's 5 years. It's just you have specific things, so specific name for numbers of things. But choir, as far as I am aware, is not a definition of a number.
Oh well, there we go.
My sister was once in a nativity play, and she played the donkey, but the donkey was the main character. So it was like all told through the story of the donkey, like the story of the donkey and how the donkey carried Mary and all this kind of stuff. And and I always used to be really sad because I always made the angels. Like I was always like in the background. I was never like the minimal part, but I was always like the medium part where I'd get like 2 lines and then like I was always an angel, a shepherd, or a wise man or something like that.
I was always a wise man. I'm not so wise though that I didn't. I did trip over I basically tripped over my rose. It was my nan, she made a really nice, elegant, like homemade dress out of some curtains. Like nans do that. They just got the time to do that.
Tinsel on your head.
Tinsel,
Angels,
perfect. And then still tripped over.
Jerry's like looking at us like this is very British of you.
Yeah.
This is so British because I've never was in the Christmas play.
Oh well,
No, because Jesus is not mentioned in schools.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like
Is this the separation of church and state?
Yeah,
situation?
apart from having fish every Friday, which was very Catholic things. It's just like anything. Jesus, no, don't mention it.
Fish?
Let's get happy. You have to have fish every Friday because we're Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like okay.
Okay, cool. We'll go with that. Yeah.
No, Christmas was very much about Father Christmas and not really much about Jesus. Which
Aww.
it's just like you went everywhere else and you had like displays of the nativity play and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Still a very Catholic country anyway.
Oh, wow.
And when you were talking about traveling, I was wondering who was the man who kind of walked the most.
Yeah.
And the record is from George Meegan,
Wow. Okay, so
a
how far did
British
you walk?
adventurer. Well, 30,608 kilometers.
I don't know what
Is
that
that
is.
far?
Yeah.
What's that in old money?
19,019 miles.
Is that a lot?
No, that's I think it's a few continents.
Did he do it constantly?
So I'm not sure if he did it constantly.
Yeah.
He certainly did it over a period. I don't think he stopped that much. I think he got married along the way. I believe he got married along the way.
that's a heck of a journey.
Yeah, his wife went back to Japan to give birth twice and came back. And just kind of
Wow.
He was still walking.
Yeah, they were still walking. So I think in order to have children, you have to stop walking.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's probably what we said. I mean, was
Just
to
putting
compare,
it out there.
To compare also with like the Mary and Joseph stuff, was he pregnant at any point? Because I mean, that I surely
Pregnant
adds
and walking,
heavily
yeah.
pregnant.
So he wasn't.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just putting it
Yeah.
out there.
Just-
I mean,
yeah.
just like
I'm just saying, just like definitely
miracles
tough.
still have to be within the realm of
Oh,
probability.
right,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
okay,
Just like
sorry.
C.S.
I'm still
Lewis's rules. You know what I mean? Just like
I'm still back there with random gifts. Yeah. Like,
no, certainly.
I
It's
don't
just
want
like
that gift.
you don't want to
get. Children are wonderful, and I'm sure there's many people who've enjoyed pregnancy. I don't want it.
I think the longest guy, the guy who's walked the longest for the longest,
Yeah.
is a Belgian guy.
Yeah.
So from Belgique, very small country. Love Belgique. Love Belgium.
Mhm.
I used to live very close to Belgium. As an aside, it's the country that was the longest before Ireland, who took it over not so long ago. The longest country, the longest time without a working parliament.
Wow.
How long did they go without a working parliament?
Quite a few years.
I was thinking months, years.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they took over Rwanda, and then they were just like literally like by miles one, and then not so long ago Ireland, I think last year or the year before, took over, and it was the longest.
I mean,
So it's
they
just like
paved the way, guys. You
Yeah.
can work without a government.
it wasn't working very well in
Oh,
Belgium.
okay. Yeah,
However, he's called George Olitzer. 6 days, walked 6 days, 418 miles.
wow.
In
Okay.
10, it's 6 days, 10 hours and 58 minutes. So yeah, it's just like and non-stop. He only stopped to pee.
Yeah.
And,
Good for him. Yeah.
and-
Well done.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and
Gosh.
a maximum of
Without
2 minutes
sleeping?
every 4 hours to change his shoes.
Without sleeping?
I mean-
I'd be so tired.
I don't think he was sane by the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Some would have said he wasn't sane to begin
To
with.
begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it is Belgium. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like
Different
Was it
rules.
like-
Yeah. Different rules.
In Belgium, they were walking, or did you like walk across countries, or how? I don't know how big Belgium is.
Why do you ask question? I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
Becky.
We will look that up
Jeremy.
for
More
another time.
thorough research is needed.
Oh, sorry.
We'll crowbar that in. Another time. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know too much about that.
That was your fact. Thank you for that,
And
Becky.
what was your fact, Becky?
My fact was that there are no animals mentioned in the Christmas story.
Jeremy, what's your... Yeah, rather than introduce yourself. Jeremy, what's your fact?
Oh, thank you for introducing me, Chris. My fact is, is that on St. Nicholas Day, so the 6th of December, which is
Mhm.
quite close to my heart, in the north of France,
Mm-hmm.
in the 16th century, they used to give children, well, one child in particular, 6 liters of wine. And that was given by the church, local church.
So, follow-up questions here. Is this a tradition that still happens?
I wish.
Was this child picked a lot? Like,
It was picked a lot.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
just like,
we've studied that before. There is a biblical.
so yeah.
reason for
But
that.
I think so. What happened is that on St. Nicholas Day, so St. Nicholas, I love the story of St. Nicholas. So St. Nicholas, massive for quite a lot of countries in Eastern Europe, Poland, Germany, and they are different kind of stories. So there is a legend around St. Nicholas that he rescued 2 children from a butcher that killed them, and he resurrected 2 children that were already chopped off,
Okay,
and put in a pot of salt. And then he went there, and then he found out that they were killed by this butcher.
The story took a turn.
Yeah.
And then he resurrected them.
I mean, it's almost like the Demon Barber of Fleet Street level of like, oh wow.
Yeah, I mean,
at least they weren't turned into pies.
The thing is, that legend is come from a mistake, literally a mistake. It's basically, I don't think it ever happened.
Oh, right,
The
okay.
real story is.
Fair enough. I was with you. I was just like, I've just read you all the gifts. Anyway.
No, it's just like, what happened is that probably what happened is that he was with 2 foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
And that was mistranslated as 2 children that he resurrected. So it's just like the legend comes from a mistake, which I love.
Yeah.
But one thing that you will really like is that, so currently, St. Nicholas is wearing white and red robe.
Yeah.
He's used to be a bishop, so he's just kind of the bishop robe, red. It used to be purple, but it became
Royalty.
red to be closer to Santa Claus, and that's where Santa Claus, the idea of the Santa Claus, come from. So Santa Claus.
Oh, see, I thought it was Coca-Cola.
I was going to say that's it. So
But
in this country, Santa Claus used to be green, and then Coca-Cola decided, oh, this would be a really good branding activity for us, and so they turned him red, and now we just see him as red.
Wow,
I like that story.
No, but I'm not sure why he turned red from purple, but he was that was it.
Maybe
That
it
was Santa
Coca-Cola.
Claus.
Yeah.
Possibly, I'm not sure.
Any other?
It's just
Sorry,
like-
at this point we also say any other brands. You know.
Pepsi, get in the game.
Yeah.
You can have a blue Father Christmas. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the
we'll go
color
with
of
that.
Pepsi is really. It's just like, or what is the brand that Lidl or Aldi does? You know.
Oh
just
yeah.
like-
Oh yeah. I can't remember now, but
Yeah,
any
it's-
colour. Yeah,
any
fine,
color.
yeah.
Any color.
I would like him to go back to being green. I think I would prefer.
To me, I'd be like,
Or
be
do you
a
think
fat
it's like,
Robin Hood. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like that's where my mind would go. Just
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, green, yeah, like
A
just
fat
But he'd
Robin
still have
Hood.
like white, like it still look like Santa or Father Christmas, but he'd just be green instead of red.
maybe it's just me. In my mind, it'd just be like
No?
you're an old Robin Hood with a beard who let yourself go, like
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So fair enough.
But not that Robin Hood was bad, but you know, that's just
Yeah, it's just a thief.
yeah.
Yeah, but he gave it
He
to the
gave
poor,
it
so
to
that's
the
all
poor.
right.
Yeah. So back to your fat journey.
Yeah.
Did you know that pillar boxes in this country used to be green as well? Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
And now
I
they're
did.
red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I actually don't know that.
No, I
one.
don't know.
I don't know why, but it's.
You need to
It's
do more sort of richer.
sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why but they used to be like up until like the early 19th century. Is that right? They used to be green, and then like all in this last
Became red.
100 years, they're red.
What I didn't realize, well, until not recently, but what I was fascinated with is that the name of the current king or queen is on the boxes. So you've got like, so you used to have E2R, which is Elizabeth II Regina. Regina meaning queen.
Queen, yeah.
Or it would be Rex for king.
Yeah.
You know, if you call your dog Rex, which we do quite a lot in France, you're actually calling him king, which is great.
I mean, are they going to be happy?
Yeah,
with that?
yeah, I'm sure. That's where we chop the head of dogs. No,
Yeah.
we don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That went bad very quickly. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Becky. Sorry.
Sorry. As soon as I see king, I hear king, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
goes
there.
just
oh,
blood boils. Yeah.
just like anyway. But yeah, so you can find boxes, post boxes, and if you just check, you will have V. R for Victoria and then George. So
yeah,
George
we've
is one
got
of the
some
oldest.
around from where I live.
So
some
yeah,
old boxes
for King George. What was very funny
Mm-hmm.
is that when Elizabeth II came into power, Scotland said, not having those postbox in. And we're like, why?
Yeah.
Because Elizabeth I was never their queen. So
so
for them,
it's
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
II was
I.
actually Elizabeth I.
Do you know? I know
okay.
something like about that was that when they combined the kingdoms,
Yeah.
they basically just tried. So the rule is that it's the most. So whoever it is going to be the most. So if Scotland had more King something, I can't remember. I think they had more King Jameses or something like that. Then now that we're all one kingdom, the next if we have another King James, it will be their number, not our number, because it's basically just whichever one is highest.
Wow, okay. But they still didn't want that
Yeah.
postbox.
Our producer just stuck something in front of me saying that basically the reason they're red is because people couldn't see them when they were green because they were unobtrusive and like hidden, and then so they painted them red so people could see them.
So basically, you just discovered that England is a bunch of Daltonian people.
Yeah,
who
you
can't see
can't
colours,
see
which
a
is
genuinely
postbox.
can't
So they
see.
were
Yeah.
bright
Yeah.
Or
red.
we like
so they
hitting
could
over
see it.
post boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the other
it's like,
takeaway.
yeah, dude, that's takeaway. So I found some very interesting thing about wine.
Okay.
Because I just kind of thought, 6 liters of wine. Come on.
Yeah.
Especially in the north of France where we don't produce wine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I come from that region of France. We do not produce wine whatsoever. We produce beer. That's what we do. It's too cold to grow grapes.
So
you know
you
what I mean?
put in this rule so you can import a reason to import wine.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. So the idea, very quickly, the idea of choosing a child. So that child would be the St. Nicholas of that day, would be
Yeah.
the bishop of that for that day, and would be able to organize. It was a very interesting way of just kind of saying, do you know what? We're going to vote for you. You're going to be the bishop for the day, and then you can organize this massive party for everybody else. And here is 6 liters of wine for you and your family.
I tell you what, yeah.
I mean, it's just great. I mean, great way of doing things.
There's
Great
a different way of like,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes greatness is thrust upon you. You know?
Yeah, so they were voted in, blah blah blah. But what was it? So they were given 6 liters of wine, which I guess in that era, wine was probably safer than water, and probably was quite watered down,
exactly.
and it's just like, and probably was for the family and not for him by himself. Though why not?
And you give it a good go. Yeah.
But what I didn't realize, champagne.
Yeah.
We just kind of think,
It's great.
only people from Champagne can wine from Champagne, a bubbly one from Champagne can be called champagne. If you do a bubbly one anywhere else, apart from Russia just decided, no, we call it champagne even if it's from here.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah,
it's
okay.
like, let's annoy everybody, even the French.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you have. So
Yeah.
that came from the Treaty of Versailles.
Right. Okay. So, like, I'm just my mind boggles. It's like, okay, treaty.
You don't know what the Treaty
Yeah.
of Versailles is.
Yeah.
Enlighten us, Becky.
It was I'm not gonna be very good at this knowledge. It was a treaty that ended a war. Is it
World War
War
One?
One? That's what I was gonna say. It was World War One, but I was like, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And it was a treaty at the end of the war to like decide what was peace and that kind of thing.
And
that's basically what
basically any sanctions or rulings or everything like that to kind of, if you like, round off. Basically, kind of, this is what's going to happen to Germany after this because of what's happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, that in itself, it's a war treaty, and I think I just
it's a peace treaty.
There's a
It's a
peace
peace
treaty.
treaty.
Yeah. Sorry,
But to
it's
keep
not like
the peace. The French had to put in there.
Well,
that champagne.
I just think it's just like it's
allowed
almost like, look, we've got all the world leaders around here. Let's
you're
just
here.
set this out.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
whilst we're sorting other stuff out, champagne, right?
So first, we need to discuss peace.
Yeah.
Secondly, land. Who
Yeah.
belongs to?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like German
Yeah.
people, you did very badly.
Yeah.
It's just like no,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah.
And then compensation,
Yeah. And then
champagne.
I mean, how are we going to celebrate after? And
So,
share
The
peace,
reason for it, just putting it out
Yeah.
there, is because Germany was probably producing bubbly wine
Oh,
at the time,
see.
so they just kind of needed to do that. Not sure why it's in the Treaty of Versailles, peace treaty.
If it was going to be put anywhere,
The French just they needed to
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
for peace.
exactly.
For peace,
Yeah,
it's got to
yeah,
be for
yeah.
peace.
You know.
So,
Anyway,
yeah.
that was my facts. That were my facts for today. On St. Nicholas Day,
Yeah.
in the 16th century, one kid was given 6 liters of wine by the local church.
And
very different
we're
environment.
petitioning to have it back. Tradition.
This is great. Anyway, happy Christmas to you all. This is the end of this episode of Weird Christianity.
That is.
We had a great time. You can follow us on X or Twitter on Weird Xenity Pod. There we go, on Twitter. I'm not sure. Just kind of W-E... No, I'm not going to spell it. Or Weird Christianity on Instagram, Threads, and Weird Christianity Pod on Facebook. Find out more about YMCA Exeter at ymcaexeter.org.uk. And again, happy Christmas to you all.
Happy Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Or Happy New Year, depending on which day.
Or when you, yeah,
when you listen to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye-bye.